Welcome back, everyone. We are here today on our first Cabral HouseCall of the weekend. Thank you so much for joining me here. If you're listening live as this show debuts on Saturday, I appreciate you for tuning in. Same day means a lot. And you can find all of today's questions over at stephencabral.com/2262. I always see if you'd like to read along with the questions. You can do so as we're going through them. If you're new to the show, we answer 12 questions typically over the weekend, 6 on Saturday, 6 on Sunday. These come in directly from the community. They are non-edited. My team doesn't even see them. All they do is copy and paste them right in. So again, just please do keep in mind, they take about 6 to 8 weeks to get to your question just because of the queue we built up. And if it's a customer service question, I apologize, but we will not see these questions because they're just directed for me. You can always email our team anytime you'd like at support@equi.life for any Equalife related items. And then, of course, you can always just email IHP or stephencabral.com for any other matters. All right. Let's dive into the questions. Here we go. First question, as I'm opening up the document and as I'm scrolling down this massive list, it looks like we are on Bob's question. And it's coming in from February 15th. So that means we are a little bit behind as well. Again, we can only move as fast as the answerer. That's me. I'm the bottleneck. And let's see, this is debuting on April 16th. So we are 8 weeks behind on your questions. Just letting you know. So if you submitted yours within the last 7 weeks or so, it's coming soon, very, very soon. All right, Bob is up first. Bob says, "Hi, Dr. Cabral. I have a fun hypothetical for you. What do you think the health of America would look like 1, 5, and 10 years down the road if you could snap your fingers and eliminate glyphosate and replace the highly inflammatory oils most Americans cook with and consume with healthy oils? Say everyone carried on with their same diet and lifestyle, just those two things changed instantly. Love the podcast. Keep up the good work." All right, Bob, it's a great question. There's essentially 2 parts to this. So there is the damage that is being done from glyphosate. So glyphosate, if you're not familiar, people love to correct this. They really do. As they're like, well, it's not a pesticide, it's an herbicide, and it can work as this, this, and this. Like, oh, it's okay. I get it. Here's the damage that it does, though. It can actually create intestinal permeability, and it's inflammatory inside the gut, and it's most used on products like wheat, etc. Right? So these things are not good for our gut. So what are we left with? Well, we're left with inflammatory gut issues. We're left with intestinal permeability, which then leads to inflammation no matter what, and then it could lead to autoimmune issues and others. So that's obviously a huge issue, right? Huge. The second is this: oils. I've talked about this before. Forget about sugar in general. Sugar in general is not good. It's not good. I'm not saying that it is. Processed sugar. Like if you're eating fruit and you're eating vegetables and you're eating like sweet potatoes, if you think that those are harmful for you, I mean, it's just you've bought into too much of the marketing of the day. You really have. I mean, you can just I don't do this, but you could put someone if you wanted to. It's not balanced. You could put someone on a diet that's overweight and disease riddled on just fruits and vegetables, whole organic fruits and vegetables. That's it. I'm telling you right now, they would see dramatic results. It's not the best way to do it, but they would see dramatic results across pretty much all fronts in like 8 weeks to 12 weeks maximum, right? I'm not recommending that, but you would. It's not the carbohydrates and sugar that it breaks into in fruits and vegetables. It is just not. I've done so many podcasts on it's not. It's just, the science does not back that up. The science does back up inflammatory polyunsaturated fatty acids and some saturated fats, which I know people go bananas over, but it's still the truth, that break down to arachidonic acid. If you know the biochemistry, then you can see how it's not just saturated fat, it's not just polyunsaturated fat. These things can break down to arachidonic acid. And if you look at it, well, let's just say grain-fed beef versus grass-fed beef, well, grain-fed beef has twice as much, I should say, arachidonic acid than grass-fed, right? So there are differences. Anyway, I'm about to go down a rabbit hole. So here's the thing. It would make a huge difference. It would make an enormous difference, Bob, without a doubt. The problem is we still have what? The things I wrote about in the rain barrel effect. We still have heavy metals, right? We still have EMFs. We still have all the other things that I talked about in the rain barrel effect. So it would make a tremendous difference, and make a huge dent, but we've got a long way to go. All right. Jen's up next. It's a good question. I like the hypotheticals, Bob. Jen's up next. Hi, Dr. Bral. I recently did a genetic test and found out that I have a genotype GSTP1, and then it goes over the SNP, and then it's AG version. Okay. This has been associated with possible harmful effects of supplement vitamin E. I take the daily nutritional support daily, and I'm wondering if I should have a concern with the vitamin E that's in the formula. Should vitamin E supplementation be avoided completely? Thank you for your insight and all you do. Yeah. So a lot of people don't know this. I just can't have those words come out of my mouth. It sounds egotistical. And I don't believe in ego in medicine at all. That's how I personally practice. I truly believe that they teach a course on ego in conventional medicine. I believe that is a course to actually graduate with a lot of these doctor's degrees. So I don't want to talk in that way. And I don't even come off in that way because, again, I'm learning daily. I put in at least an hour of research a day. I read multiple books still a week. And it's because I want to be at my best for our community. But I know genetics inside and out. This is something I did in depth for so many years in my practice, but it's so in depth that I decided it's like, I just have to put that to the side. Cause like I would spend X number of hours with each person. And like, I was not able to help now the community size that we have. And so it was a fair trade. It was, but I'm going to be teaching a course on genetics in the future. And then everyone, you'll be able to get access to it. So here's the thing. There is some research. There's some research on vitamin E with this specific gene, but it's just like looking at it in a vacuum. So for example, people that have issues, there are people that have issues with sulfur-based amino acids and like that includes like from proteins and garlic and onion and all that. Okay. So if someone has an issue with sulfur-based amino acids, do they not take in any? Because if they don't, well, they're not going to be able to produce glutathione. So then they're not going to be able to have this antioxidant that is the number one antioxidant for scavenging cancer and much more in the body. So we have to be really careful. I know, and Jen, it makes total sense why you're asking this. I totally get it, and you're on point. So here's the thing. I can't give you medical advice. So there's no medical advice in this podcast. There's no treatment plans. There's no diagnosis, anything like that. If it were me, I would not take a big dose of vitamin E on a daily basis, but for sure, I'd be getting my vitamin E on a daily basis because I'm looking at what vitamin E does for the rest of the body as well, not just this specific gene. Because you're looking at one gene, well, what about this gene? Does this gene then counteract this gene? And so there's a lot going on. And then also you can actually, I believe it's interleukin 6 that it affects. Again, I can't do the research while we're live on the show because it's literally live, but I believe it's interleukin 6 and you can certainly be testing your CRP and interleukin 6 levels if you'd like to. All right. So good question, Jen. For me, I would take in my daily on a daily basis. I just wouldn't be doing extra supplemental vitamin E. That's my opinion. All right, and Net says, hi, Dr. Bral. First of all, thanks for all you do and the information you share with us. I don't want to make this into a long and take up a lot of your time. So here's my 2 questions. My first question, how do I reduce inflammation in my body, which is probably the cause of my seasonal allergies? Is adrenal fatigue a cause of inflammation? I did the organic acids test and metals test. Results did not show any major concerns. My second question, I'm experiencing dry cough and mucus after the virus. It's been about 3 months now. What can I do to get rid of these symptoms? Okay, so 100%, you have to read the Rain Barrel Effect. It's literally free. I pay now for it to be printed. It cost me like $7.80 to print every single copy. And then we just charge you if you're in the US for shipping. That's it. And I don't know what it is right now, so I don't want to state it, but it's under $10 for shipping. We just literally charge you whatever it costs. And I think it's like, I don't know, $7, $8. That's at StephenCabral.com. And you have to see this because there's no one cause of inflammation. So there's no one way to lower it. Right? So check out my podcast. I have so many podcasts on inflammation. Check out my podcast. Inflammation is not the root cause. So inflammation is not the root cause of disease. You can even type it into Google. Stephen Cabral, inflammation, not the root cause of disease. And you'll be able to find my podcast on that because you can have inflammation from gut issues, from gut permeability, from candida, from heavy metals, from viral overload, for all sorts of issues, right? Not enough cortisol, too much cortisol. So you have to find out what the underlying root cause is. So you ran 2 tests, which is fantastic. Okay, well, what else could be imbalanced then? Because it's process of elimination. That's really what it is. And then, if there is nothing, then how do you know that you have inflammation, right? Your seasonal allergies could be, I've stated this before, but I'm going to be doing more shows on it. I've done lots of shows on allergies. Again, candida overgrowth, parasites, bacterial overgrowth, intestinal permeability, Th2 dominance because of viral overload. There's so many things that it could be. And so I would work on those things, right? That's exactly what I would do. And then the last part about mucus, well, mucus is there. And dry cough. I have a podcast on all of these. So I want you to go to StephenCabral.com. This is your homework /podcast. And then you can scroll through the images at the top. I've got one on energy. So you can check that out for adrenal fatigue. I've got one on the virus, and it even goes into dry cough and mucus. So mucus is there because you have inflammation, and inflammation is there because there is some type of issue with whatever area it is. Like there still could be viral load. There still could be inflammation from over-exaggeration of the immune system, which was elevated for many weeks at a time. All of these things are able to be rebalanced. I mean, they really are. All right. Just need more in depth right there. And I don't want to start to give you one or two things, because one or two things are not the answer. A holistic vision for what needs to be done is the true answer, so that you don't do something, get a little bit of results, but then relapse. That's not what I'm all about. All right, Isabella is up next. Where does exercise fit in when you're under extreme mental and emotional stress and not get enough sleep, 4 to 6 hours, and still have to manage a household with kids and a spouse? I try to eat well, at least 5 to 7 cups of veggies per day, lean protein, supplement with daily foundational protocol level 2, plus zinc. I usually do HIIT classes, but worry that it may just be adding more stress to my current situation. Yeah, 100%. So again, I've got a lot of shows on this as well. I would love people to start to go back, listen to some back episodes specific by their category if they want. Again, go to StephenCabral.com /podcast, scroll through the top. But I want to give you your answer. So you have 4 forms of exercise. You start with walking, then you do some steady state cardio, then you move to resistance training. It can just be body weight at first, then weights. It can be bands, sandbags, kettlebells, whatever you enjoy, and then HIIT training. So it's from least stimulating to the nervous system to most stimulating to the nervous system. Remember, it's not just about the muscles, it's the nervous system. The nervous system causes the most wearing down on the body. So when you're already in a state of only getting 4 to 6 hours, which means if you're not getting 7+, then your body's already stressed. And if you're hypocaloric or you're just getting enough to meet your energy demands, you have to be really careful with over-exercising. If you want to do HIIT classes because it allows you to blow off some steam and some stress and all that, great. But I would always make sure that you have a day off in between to allow your body to recover. So it might be Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 3 days a week. That might work well. But for you where you're at right now, I would love 2 days a week of strength training to maintain muscle mass and metabolism. But then I would really be focused on getting more sleep. Okay. And it would also be focused on improving that quality of sleep, of course. You can check out my shows on that. But really, really important that you are focused more on bringing more energy in than letting it out. What does that mean? Okay. Your exercise is going to be walking 7,000 to 10,000 steps per day. But you really want to turn on that parasympathetic nervous system. Meditation, binaural beats, meditation, I mentioned that, but again, it's so important for improving DHEA levels and overall reducing stress hormones. Light massage, if you do that, not overextending yourself with sauna, not doing a lot of cold therapy right now, which is very stimulating to the nervous system, producing more norepinephrine. So that's where I would start, 100%, like without a doubt. Bring in energy, more energy than you're giving out. And we have to improve that sleep. That's the number one thing we need to look at right now. How do we get your sleep to at least 7 hours and then track your sleep? We want 90 minutes of deep sleep or more, 2 hours of REM sleep or more. All right? Good question. Diane is up next. Diane says, "Hi, Dr. Paul, and thank you for all you do in your unending efforts in getting us all on track for total wellness." Thank you, Diane. I recently read of a bath recipe of 2 cups Epsom salt, 1 box of baking soda, and 1 bottle of peroxide in the bath to help aid in restoring the body's pH. I've watched your podcast on Epsom salt baths along with the optional essential oils such as lavender. I've read The Raid Barrel Effect, an excellent book, but had wondered your opinion on this combination has any wellness benefit, or if I'm just wasting products. Thank you for any information you can give. Okay. It's a great question. It really is. And there's actually a lot of items that we can add to that bath. So in Ayurvedic medicine, and you have to be really careful with this. So I'm not recommending this because you also have to put Vaseline. I don't want to go too deep in this, but you can use, I'm not even going to say what it is. You can use heating powders from nature to speed up the metabolism. We used to do that when I was overseas. I'm not going to even get into it because I don't want anybody to do this and get hurt. But one thing that is helpful is actually adding either apple cider vinegar or, and again, I like the baking soda better. Now, baking soda has a high pH. Apple cider vinegar, a lower pH. There's a difference for use based on the person, but you're creating basically a high pH bath. You've got sodium, right? You've got your sodium bicarb, that's baking soda. And then you've got magnesium, you've got Epsom salt, which is magnesium sulfate. Magnesium, typically higher pH. Sodium bicarbonate, very high pH. Sulfate, sulfur, detoxifying. There's nothing wrong with doing that. One box of baking soda is a lot. I mean, you can do it as long as you don't feel that there's any burning sensation, especially around the genitals. You could absolutely do this. I don't think that I would add necessarily the bottle of peroxide. The bottle of peroxide, although it has its benefits, is very corrosive because it's extra oxygen. So that can be helpful when cleaning something or using it. I don't want to get too deep again into that in terms of inhalation, but it is very powerful and it does work. Skin alone, I think we have to be careful because it's not going to be absorbed as well through the dermal layer of the skin. So I actually look at an Epsom salt bath for more relaxation, inducing parasympathetic nervous system, calming the nervous system, and also helping with a little bit of detoxification. The baking soda will help with that pH, but only by a minor degree. All right, it is helpful. I do like it, but it's only by a minor degree with absorbing more than that sodium bicarb because your blood then gets more sodium bicarb. But again, it's going to balance that pH as well. So hopefully that was helpful, Diane. It was a great question. We're going to keep that at our questions for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate you. I'll be back answering more of our community's questions tomorrow. Thank you so much.